Antoine Galindo, a journalist accredited to Africa Intelligence, arrested in Addis Ababa on February 22. According to Selamawit Kassa, State Minister for the Service, during a media briefing this morning, stated that the journalist was in Ethiopia after receiving accreditation to cover the 37th O Summit, but was found gathering information about Ethiopia's internal political issues. She further stated that he was interviewing leaders and members of various political parties as well as activists involved in politics. He has been carrying out activities outside the purpose of his visit since the day he set foot in Addis Ababa under the guise of journalism, the state minister said. She pointed out that it is illegal for journalists to work outside of the purpose for which they were given accreditations. Indigo Publications, the publisher of Africa Intelligence, stated that Galindo possessed valid journalist credentials to cover other news events in addition to the recently held African Union Summit, and had duly informed the Ethiopian Media Authority of his journalistic assignment in 24 by security forces in Addis Ababa while conducting an interview with Accusations, a political officer of the Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, a legally registered opposition party. He was presented before the Addis Ababa City Administration Bull Division Court on Saturday, accused of conspiring with two armed groups, the Olashin and the Fano militia, to incite unrest in the capital, as reported by CPJ. Galindo was detained at the Ethiopian Skylight Hotel while interviewing Accusations, a political officer with the Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, a party legally recognized in Ethiopia, his lawyer said. CPJ reported the baseless and unjustified detention of Antoine Galindo for carrying out his legitimate journalistic duties is outrageous and Ethiopian authorities must release him immediately without condition, said Angela Quintal, head of CPJ's Africa program. Antoine Galindo's arrest is yet another example of the dismal press freedom record in Ethiopia, where at least another 8 journalists are behind bars for their work and who must also be released urgently. On Saturday, Galindo appeared before the Addis Ababa City Administration Bull Division Court on allegations of conspiring with two armed groups to incite unrest in the capital, the Olashin, a term used by Ethiopian officials to refer to the decades-old Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, rebel group, and the Fano, a militia in Amhara state that has been fighting federal forces since April 2023. The state minister accused him of conducting activities unrelated to his visit's purpose, such as interviewing political leaders and activists in Addis Ababa. French journalist Antoine Galindo was arrested in Ethiopia for reporting on domestic affairs without proper accreditation. He was accused of gathering information on internal political issues and conspiring with armed groups to incite unrest in the capital. The journalist, working for Africa Intelligence, had valid credentials to cover news events and had informed the Ethiopian Media Authority of his assignment. The incident raised concerns about journalists working outside the purpose of their accreditations. However, CPJ considered the allegations against Galindo as baseless and lacking in merit. On Monday, CPJ stated that Galindo was carrying out legitimate journalistic duties and urged Ethiopian authorities to release him immediately without condition. Galindo is set to reappear before the court on Friday, March 1, 2024.